The first time I really had to be strong for myself was I was kind of like in a R. Kelly situation kind of thing.
Elaborate on that.
Well, I was about 13 years old, and my mother was sick with arthritis, and she was always in and out the hospital. And as you know, arthritis is, well, not arthritis, God forgive me, but lupus. And lupus is an autoimmune disease, lupus and arthritis and bronchitis. So she was always in and out the hospital.
Oh, wow.
And at this time, I was kind of like a trouble child because I would fight a lot in school and stuff like that. So there was nowhere for me to stay because something had happened. I was staying with my grandmother. Some things happened. We didn't really get along like that. God rest her soul. And like I said, thank God that this podcast didn't happen when we wanted it to or when we was working on it.
You said
because it would have been a total different conversation and a total different outlook on it, because now I'm looking at it very differently. I look at my relationship with my family very differently because of this incident, I harbor a lot of feelings towards them negatively for a long time because I felt like nobody was there for me in that moment or there for my mom or in me. So I kind of had to do what I had to do.
Because you had to do it by yourself.
I had to do it by myself. But in this instant, I was a minor. So obviously, for whatever reason, I couldn't stay at my grandmother's house anymore because we wasn't seeing eye to eye at the time. And I praise God that we had an opportunity to talk about it. But I wasn't allowed to stay at her house because she wasn't used to the whole gay thing. And I was just coming into myself. And, you know, like she said, that wasn't something that she was used to growing up with. She was old school. So obviously there was, at the time, a pastor who was like kind of like a family friend, you would quote unquote say. And I started living with him and his sons, and he was like molesting me and his sons. So it was a lot at the time because he was telling us one thing on Sunday, like telling us wrong to be gay, it's horrible to be gay. And then the next thing it would be like, okay, and mind you, it was his sons he's having sexual encounters with. And then I remember when like human services got involved, children and youth or whatever, had got involved. They call it DHS in Philly. So they had got involved. And when they did, they was like, okay, he got to go somewhere else. So basically when they had, I keep saying they got involved, like each over and over again.
Right.
But anyway, it was like a whole thing. And nobody believed me at the time because he was a pastor. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to believe that.
Oh yeah, the title.
Come on
the
now.
title.
Come on. And it's just the title. So nobody believed me. And I remember at the church, I had said what I had said. And what I said was, this man is touching me and his children. And he was like, oh no, he has mental issues, you know, all the whole nine. And everybody believed it. And they believed him. And I felt like, I was then feeling like, damn, don't nobody got me or whatever. And I
wasn't heard.
Yeah, and I didn't want to tell my mom because she was sick, you know, and I felt like, this is going to make her sicker and she would die, you know?
Stress.
And then he never beat me though. Like he used to beat the hell out of his kids, like to the point they had welts on them, everything. They had, like, he used to beat them bad. But he never touched me because I think that if he touched me,
you would have said something.
The validation that would have gave my statements, because I was always vocal. You know, I'm still vocal.
Yeah.
So that would have definitely been crazy if I would have said what I said and then I could show for what I could show. Because it's not that much that you can show with molestation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's that part of it. But it was definitely a long journey because I had to stay in foster care. After his house, I told one social worker and she believed me.
So wait, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
So when that happened, when everything transpired and pretty much you got groomed to like it or just was used to it, like how did you feel? Like how did your mind shift? Because I know that when things like that happen, like you get like urges and stuff.
I'm glad you asked that. My whole relationship with men had changed. It went from knowing that I can use sex to manipulate men who liked men who had wanted to hide it. So it made me transition me into a part where I only looked at sex as transactional.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it made me use sex as a weapon rather than
just
enjoyment. It made me say, okay, like it made me fall in love with, and I know we rival a little bit when it comes to hip hop, especially females and hip hop and stuff like that. But it made me indulge into like Lil' Kim and being very promiscuous in that way, where it was like Lil' Kim and all of them became idols. you know, and they became people who I look forward to advice. Like, okay, he gonna pay me 10 bands just to belly, all of that crazy
so it was
stuff.
like, it's almost like the new City Girls.
Yeah,
but it was
but
like,
it
was
me
the OG, like him.
Right, but it turned me into that because it made me think, okay, they want
and
something.
She always spit that getting money, I mean,
yeah. So
fucking around, you know what I'm saying? Excuse my language, you know.
But it was crazy. That part of it was crazy. And I think for me, it was just a lot because I had to deal with a lot. And I had to go through